Well, everybody, this is PS Man here. Psh. Well, everyone missed me already. I made a video quite a while already, and also my DVD update instead. Well, I didn't have enough time about it. But I'm gonna do this for today already, and I'm about to finish it of the DVD update already. I think this is my last DVD update instead. I'm gonna show you my collection of all my DVDs already. I think it's like 1,000 DVDs I got already for my collection. And also a new poster too, right here. Well, I'm just organizing my room instead, and organizing the DVDs and the ABC orders already. Well, let's start off for the series of the Disney Afternoon. The ones they had like the series of DuckTales right here. All the collector's item on volume 1, 2, and 3, but sometimes I don't like how they call them volume because it's not that easy to call them volume. Call them season better instead. Well, a lot of people like to call them season better, It makes it obvious what kind of season it just came out. Well, first of all, DuckTales was a series of my childhood. I did watch the episode of DuckTales before, but the annoying theme song was the DuckTales theme song already. People say it couldn't get them out their heads or anything like that, but whatever. But I don't quite obvious get that it's an annoying song instead, Well, I don't know if there's gonna be a volume 4, but these are the last 3 seasons already, Well, it's kind of cute, but DuckTales is like your childhood had grown up inside of you, You like the series and the video game already. Well, that's about it for DuckTales. But let's go for this DVD called Darkwing Duck instead, because DuckTales and Darkwing Duck, I don't know, the series added up together because they had new characters like Launchpad in it. Launchpad was in the series of DuckTales instead, while they added up together, and Gizmo Duck too. I think the series was added up together between a Cape Crusader who fights crime instead, Sometimes it's kind of like disappointing, like this is like a superhero who fights crime instead, and the villains instead. Well, it's pretty awesome. And my third DVD is called Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. Well, it's another childhood of my past instead, I grew up watching these cartoons instead since we grew up instead, It's kind of our dreams. We grew up in that. It's kind of an adventure instead, Originally, it has about 27 episodes, including in one DVD, but I don't know how the series started because the DVD doesn't look organized to me, How the series started instead, Well, it started off between the mission how to stop some criminals who robbed gold bars instead. You remember that episode we just saw instead? That must be from the beginning how they met Monty and Zipper. Well, you realize Zipper is like a fly instead as a cartoon, What kind of hell Zipper is, Well, we realize Zipper is like a fly instead, a house fly, It's kind of pretty small instead, In the Chip 'n Dales, we remember since they versus like Donald Duck in the episode, but I forgot about that because I remember how they versus Chip 'n Dales and Donald Duck before, Don't forget, Donald Duck was in the episode of DuckTales too, in the series. Well, it's kind of obvious, like they put them together instead, How Donald Duck's nephews left him for Uncle Scrooge instead. Well, that's how the story should be began instead. Well, let me explain about the episodes of the Scorpion King 2 instead, Well, basically, this cost me $20 instead, to see the price right here. Well, this is kind of weird because why the hell they call it the Scorpion King 2 instead? It doesn't make any sense, you know? They should have put the episodes in organized, you know? This is starts the way beginning how the Scorpion King was a teenager, you know? From the way beginning how he grew up. And also, and another one, when he grew up as the, well, you know whose character who started it? As The Rock. Well, it's like this is the beginning of the Scorpion King, you know? How the story just began instead. It's kind of like these two are just mixed up with round because two has to make one and one has to make two instead, you know? It's kind of reverse number instead, you know? The numbering pad is messed up instead. Well, let's explain about the Mummy instead, you know? The Mummy series is kind of confused, you know? We got 3 episodes in these movies right here. This is like the trilogy of the mummies instead. Well, it's not kind of too bad instead for specs instead, you know? I got this pretty cheap. 3 movie packs instead. Well, it has to be The Mummy Returns, and The Scorpion King. Well, this movie is like between the beginning of The Scorpion King and the movies are like a bonus footage instead, you know? This is like, it's pretty obvious like how this all began. The Mummy Returns had to be involved with the Scorpion King, you know? Yep, how they finished it in the way beginning of the story. Well, you saw it, but and the last movie was The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor was the third because it has to be the last one here, you know? Because the Scorpion King did not count instead, you know? This had to be counted as The Mummy, you know how the story began? Well, this is like, has like, an episode of a Chinese emperor, you know? Who ruled the world instead, you know? Of the 1940s instead. Well, this is like a trilogy of The Mummy instead, you know? And also, I got the first DVD of Nick Fury instead, who stars as David Hasselhoff, whatever he's called himself. Well, I have seen this before, you know? Nick Fury in the Black Widow. This is like the movie from Marvel instead, you know? Of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, it's like, I don't know what kind of version they put in for Nick Fury instead, because I don't know what happened to the other version of Nick Fury who was a white person placed as a black person, but well, we get the idea because it doesn't make any sense, you know. Well, I don't know, because the original Nick Fury, I think he got retired as the missions after he got replaced by a black guy instead. Well, it's kind of like we missed the white Nick Fury instead, you know? But it's the mystery we'll not know instead from Marvel instead, you know? Catch Nick Fury on DVD already. Well, in the DVDs I'm gonna show you is the one from Clive Barker's Hellraiser. And Hellraiser 2 comes with a DVD bonus instead, you know? Well, it has like two discs on Hellraiser 1 and Hellraiser 2 instead. Well, it comes from a price and the bonuses and before on FYE instead, you know? I got these movies and FYE. They're pretty cheap instead, you know? And also another one from the FYE before. Look at this shit. Man, look at this. Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, and Hellraiser Bloodline, Hellraiser Infernal. And look at this, Hellraiser High Seek. Man, I don't know why the numbering pad stopped numbering though. And why they stopped numbering between 4, 5, or 6 instead. Well, it's like the numbering pad is getting messed up, you know, because people think they dropped the ball instead, you know, like Just like when people just stop numbering these movies, it gets me so pissed off. I just don't like how people stop numbering them instead, you know? It should have been better in like the Rocky series back here before, you know? It was perfectly A-okay, you know? And the Saw movies were perfectly A-okay too, you know? Sometimes, do me a favor, people, try to figure out what numbering path to start in. Like the one from the Scorpion King, I do not know about that instead, you know? The numbering pack got mixed up between 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 instead, you know? And the last DVD I'm going to do is the one from, well, the anime series called Tekken. Well, for a long time, they couldn't try to make a movie out of this, but they already did instead, you know? Sometimes I was thinking, when they're gonna make a movie out of this one, you know? I've been playing Tekken before since my childhood. Playing Tekken 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Well, I did play 6 before on the Sony PlayStation 3 before. And also, like, it had, like, everyone, like Nina Williams, Eddie Gordo, and Raven, and Consummate Jin. Well, it did have everybody, but I'm just gonna check where's Anna Williams instead, you know? Well, the storyline continues. I'm glad they made a movie out of this one from anime instead, you know? This is like real life instead, but the other one was definitely like CG instead, you know? But you should see that instead. Well, everyone, that's my DVD update already. I hope you have a nice day, because the numbering pad is just kind of mixed up instead, you know? I just don't want to get confused by it. And another thing is about this year, Final Destination 5. Well, this is pretty obvious, because the fourth Final Destination was called The Final Destination, you know? But what happened to the numbering pad, you know? I don't know what story began. Is this really called The Final Destination? What is the Final Destination is? You know, when is it going to end instead? Well, whatever, people. Well, catch me for my next videos I'm about to do. See you next time.